right, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for being here. If you can hear me, let me know in the chat. Just a quick sound check before we get going. Not sure if I'm going out or not. Okay, cool. Looks like we got it. So, we're gonna get started here in just a second. Yeah. So, we've had kind of a lot of drama about Dehya as a character in the game. I largely have been feeling since the outset that that has been kind of overblown. And here's my take on that. If we didn't have leakers who knowingly signed a non-disclosure agreement with full intent to deceive the proprietors of said NDA, we wouldn't have anything to be complaining about until today. And I honestly really don't think if they weren't controlling the narrative, we wouldn't be having these kind of reactions to this character. Now, there is a lot of limitations to her kit. That's true. You cannot trigger a lot of the common off-screen damage elements that you're used to applying with Dehya. So that is to say, you can't use things like Yelan or Xingqiu or other characters that will drive coordinated attacks quite the same way that you're expecting or would like to. Doesn't necessarily mean that the character is going to be bad. It just means that she may not fit the role that everybody expected for her in the most broad sense. So in this stream, I'm going to try to find, I'm going to really try hard to find what I think is some of her better roles by experimenting with different artifacts, with different team comps. If you guys have characters that you'd like to see me test with her, I will do that as well. Obviously, like I said, characters that do coordinated attacks on hit, be it burst or normal, otherwise are not going to work. Those don't work for Dehya. And there's certain there's even certain sets, like artifact sets, that you really can't you cannot get good use out of her because of that as well. Now, there's several different artifact sets that I think you can use with Dehya, but given the way her set kind of seems to work, the modifiers are really low on HP. So I really don't know how much precedent there's going to be for trying to use, we'll say, artifacts that have a high level of HP on them. So you don't necessarily need an HP Sans. I'm thinking attack. This one's trash, so I do need to go back through and see if I maybe have some gladiator pieces that I can use. Like, this piece is actually quite nice, so I was kind of trying to stay with Shimenawa's, but I might need to take a quick look through my gladiator trash to see what I have. Let's see, that one's crit rate. I mean, it's got a decent amount of crit damage, but I don't know about that one. Crit rate, these are all rate. I don't know how many extra crit damage ones I have. I mean, I guess I have this one that's on my Klee, a character I literally never use. Keqing is a character I'm currently rebuilding. I'm kind of not excited about the prospect of stealing pieces off of her, but I would do it. This one on my Rosaria's got crazy good crit damage on it for a crit rate piece. All things considered, I mean, that's not bad. Yeah, so I'm just kind of trying to feel out how I want to replay this a little bit. So I could easily go to that to get a 2-2 piece that's a little bit better than the one I have here. Let's see what I have for Gladiator really quick on here, because I'm thinking that most of the builds for Dehya are going to be 2-2 builds. you're going to be looking at more than likely a two-piece attack. You definitely want attack. That's one of her primary scaling factors. The other thing that you could go with is something like tenacity to pick up HP. This will be a scaling factor for the character. I would say that might be a better option than, say, devoting an entire artifact bonus to that, depending on what you want to do. You have the opportunity here where you could go double 18s. You could literally go Shimenawa's Gladiators and just stack a lot of attack on this character. And I think these are things that you know, we may need to try throughout this and kind of try to dial in on what pushes the most damage from her. And then we can start trying to see what characters she's going to work best with. Now, I don't know how many of you were here for my stream last night. I did try some preliminary testing with my favorite character in the game, which is Mona. I have been using Mona as a primary damage dealer for a very long time. This is not news to people who check out my streams regularly. What I will say is that I have never really found a good pyro coordinator for her, like a good character that will reliably give off-screen pyros without me having to constantly either reposition and burn out her stamina even faster when you want to use her charge shot a lot, or you have to be kind of weirdly close to the enemies, like I said. So, you know, like you can get obviously good pyro damage and application out of characters like Xiangling, but you got to be close to the enemies. If you're fighting anything difficult, then you're going to be dodging more because you're really close to them, which can be problematic for, like I said, stamina. So a character like Dehya kind of solves all those problems because you get those applications the way that you might hope you would by not having to be particularly close to them. Granted, they're only every 2.5 seconds. Do I think maybe that could be shortened? Sure. But I do think that it's still very effective. And I think that that might actually be a very effective building for getting melts out of characters like, say, Ganyu and stuff from time to time as well. But we'll see. You feel... somebody in chat said, Tentarian and Tavat says, I feel like problems like this get invented when people try to shoehorn characters into comps that already exist, even if they aren't meant to fit there. Oh, absolutely they do. So this is, again, a whole point of this stream, guys. Like, I'm not buying in, like, the point of it is I am not buying into the garbage that says this character is crap because the narrative says it's crap. If she's bad, I'm going to determine whether or not she's bad by my own evaluation, and I'm not just gonna let everybody else's opinion tell me that it's bad, or not even opinion really, but everybody else's before release perception. That's not what I'm about. Like, just like I approach the mechanics of this game the same way I approach the lore of this game. I have, you know, a squinty eye. I'm like, okay, like, but does this work? Can it work? Who can we try it with? How objective were people really during the testing process in the betas? And again, we don't know who these people are. Again, these are people who were, from the outset, intending to deceive the people they signed an NDA with. They said, yes, we'll sign this, but I'm going to release this to everybody anyways. That's not a trustworthy individual. Okay, so let me get a good other gladiator piece. This piece is a little low on crit rate. I hate to steal pieces from who, but what am I, how much crit rate? I have 7% on this, so it would be just a strict downgrade. Huh. And I don't know if I have any Pyro Gladiator cups here. Let's see. I kind of feel like I don't, but I'll see. That's Dendro, Cryo. Let me go ahead and sort. It seems unlikely. But if I do, I'd be surprised. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. No, I don't. Yeah, I didn't think I would. So the pieces that I have to replace are going to be these two. Oh, wait. Did I already? No, I didn't. Okay, I was so confused for a second. All right. So it would have to be this one and the other one. So like I said, what I want to do is try to maximize her stats just a little better than I had last night. Because I didn't really do any good testing with an attack sans. I swapped it out at the last minute, but then didn't really do any damage comparison. I have a HP one as well. And I mean, honestly, what I can do is I can test it with this one, but the stats just aren't as good. 52.1 is still not horrible. Crit damage, 148. Oh, still not great. and 116.2% ER. And this is because her weapon is currently Wolf's Gravestone. That's meant to help boost her attack, which is, you know, a big part of her kit scalers. So that's kind of where some of my focus is coming from. But I do have Ito's weapon that I can try on her as well if I want to try and maximize crit stats to kind of see what kind of damage that will push and how fast it can happen. So we're gonna go running through some things and kind of see where we land. But again, like I said, from the outset of this is, let's not buy the narrative and let's test things for ourselves. Because I'm not about that stuff, man. I've never been about that stuff. Let me check through the chat here really quick. Oh, Ashikai, hey, how's it going? Let's see, Beans. Yeah, midday stream feels like staying home from school and watching cool game shows. Oh man, cool game shows while staying home from school. That takes me back big time. Ashikai says, TH's rate, people are putting her in the wrong places. They'll get it eventually, or they won't. Oh. Ashikai. I feel like they won't. But that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the stream, because I'm trying to help, you know, change whatever perception I can if it's worth changing, which I suspected it will be. So like I said, what we're gonna do first, I'm gonna go ahead and just test damage outright. We're gonna go over to the samurai in Inazuma. And I'm gonna piss that guy off real quick, and we're gonna see kind of what the average damage output is for some of her base skills with an attack sans, then with an HP sans, and see which one of those is likely to be definitively better for her. And then I'm gonna try and swap up to the gladiator ones to see if I can you know, find something that's maybe optimized a little better. We don't know if attack or pyro oriented stuff is going to end up being better for her. Did I run the wrong way? No, it's this way. No, actually I think I went to the whole wrong island, didn't I? No, it's the right one. But yeah, so we got to figure out which one at the end of the day is actually the one we need to use. So shall we spar? Oh, we so shall. So right now I'm not really trying to add any damage from any modifiers or anything. I just want to see a 3692 base hit, 3349. So I mean, these hits are kind of to be expected normal. 5144. 2.5 seconds later we'll get another 5144 on the E. Okay, 5144. I feel like that was pretty close to what I was getting from the HP one from before. Let's try your burst. 3104, 3104. Okay, some 8,000s towards the end of it. Not really anything super impressive, which is, you know, the kind of numbers that I think people are complaining about. But then I haven't exactly really optimized her yet, so we'll see. I've got Wolf's Gravestone that will give her a bit of a punch for extra damage here momentarily, but kind of what I want to do now is just go ahead and end it so I can change the weapon. So let's do this.
I'm going in. Written in the stars.
That didn't really work. Oh, there it is. There's that 200,000. Thank you, Mona. So I did get a good trigger off of that. That was a good positive trigger from Dehya and Mona cooperating. And then this is what I was saying with Mona and vaporizing on top of Dehya's abilities, where you get some nice results from that so long as they're in it and getting hit by it. It stacks up pretty nice. All right, I need to get that back. Oh, I don't think I actually hit him with that. It's kind of annoying. Well, let's see if I can kill him before the buzzer. Yeah, I got him right before the buzzer. All right, so what I want to do is go ahead and swap this back to the other one I had, which was HP focused. That's this one. It does, however, increase my crit damage pretty dramatically compared to the garbage one I was just using. So we may need to see kind of where some of that damage is falling with the crit comparisons. If it's a lot different, then we'll know. But we'll kind of have at it with this. All right. Damage isn't really her selling point. I think trying to build her around damage until C1, C2 is a bit like running Fizz Zhongli. You can do it, but why? Oh, man. But you're talking to one of the original Fizz Zhonglis. I did used to do that. I did it for fun, but yeah. So these already seem significantly lower so far, but they might just not be crits. No, those are actually just bursts. Yeah, so it looked like finally I got one that was decent there. I think it was 54 before, so I think this went down, you know, quite a bit by swapping to HP instead of attack. Let's go with the reverse hits and see what that looks like. 844. Okay, so the 844s are very close, but I think that maybe the burst was more damage than before. That's weird. Let's try this again. 5150. I mean, it seems like the E damage is comparative, but I did have a lot more crit damage with this setup than the other one. So it's one of those things where it's kind of making me think that the attack was more effective. If I can get more efficient substats out of it, I think it will counter for this problem. Because I'm seeing 5150. I think it was like 50, like, what was it, 54 or something, 5440 or something like that. I might have to come back at it. Now I've got the Wolf's Gravestone, so it's not going to be a fair comparison anymore. Anyway. Come on. That. That burn off real quick. Oh, that did that out of order. Okay, I got a good hit on him anyway. Shadows of fate. Yeah, I don't really think that Dehya... I do agree, though, Ashika. I don't really think that Dehya's kit is designed to make her the on-screen attacker. But what I want to do is explore that first and see kind of where she lands with it. But I do agree. I don't think that's where her kit is going to shine. I think her kit's going to shine in providing mitigation opportunities for characters who used to have a problem surviving on screen that you may not, you know, have enjoyed trying that with as much before. So this would be characters like Ganyu without a shield. You know, trying to use Ganyu without a shield completely sucks. Everybody knows that. It's bad. But with Dehya, that might not be so bad. Again, Mona without a shield's pretty rough too, because you're burning through your stamina and you need to be using her stamina to push attacks. I want to go back to the other one really quick just to check that damage source one more time, even though I cut my crit damage by like almost 30%. Because I want to see those numbers one more time. God, I wish you didn't have to go through that every time. Just let it end at the end of the other one. Okay. Well, that was kind of a weird low number. 5144. So no, it's basically the same number, but with a lot more crit damage on top of it to get to that same number. So yeah, I would be willing to say that the attack is definitely giving me more than the HP sands anyway. And you know, so you want to try to maximize these stats for her. Attack and crit stats, I think, are still going to be the most important stats that you can build with her, because you're trying to maximize vaporize opportunities or melt opportunities, and these are things that scale on attack and crit stats. All right, dude, stop blocking so much. Everybody stand! Shadows of fate. All right, you can knock that garbage off right now. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely stack up plenty of vaporize opportunities off of that, though, and I do like that a lot. No, here, have that. Well, let's see what this will do following Mona's burst. Playtime's over. I mean, she definitely brings back a good amount of health. I mean, that wasn't strictly terrible. You know, obviously I had Omen running on top as well. Like, he died relatively quick. Obviously there are other characters that will do that faster. Like unapologetically faster. Okay, so I would say the attack stance is definitely the way to go. Am I going for her sig weapon or keeping her on Wolf's Gravestone? So here is the problem with that. I really shouldn't go get her signature weapon right now. My life has a lot of influx things going on right now. I had a pretty massive job interview this morning, and if I get that, yeah, I might get her signature weapon, because it means, you know, things are going to be smooth in the near future again. But for now, I probably shouldn't. It's just probably not a good idea. It's not in the cards financially right now for me to push for her signature weapon. Yeah, and I've got a big move coming up, guys. Like, I've talked about it in some of the other streams. I've been in Virginia the whole time that you guys have seen me on the channel. I've been in Virginia for the contract job that I've had up until the beginning of this month. But, you know, my contract ended and I'm done with that job now. So I am moving back to Georgia, which is the state I was from originally. You can argue that her signature weapon is a damage weapon, but Aqua Simulacra isn't great on Yelan at C0 either. At C1, 2, Dehya is more damage based, so you can justify it. Yeah, that's also true. Like, the her first and second constellations are pretty spicy, I think. And, you know, this is one of those things about Dehya being on the standard banner, is that those constellations, to anybody who plans to play this game for the long term, you're probably going to see these constellations for this character. You are. You know, the sad realization, you know, obviously, like, I roll for every character, but I don't necessarily dig deep for them. And I've got lots of standard banner constellations. My Diluc, my Jean, my Kuching are all C6. Chi-Chi C4, Mona C2. Sadly, she's the one I want the most constellations on, have the least. And even Tainari, as of yesterday, is C2 as well. So, like, you will get constellations on this character as long as your luck is not completely abysmal. She could end up being your Mona. You know, like, for me, like I said, C2, been playing since the day the game came out, and my Mona, of course, is the one that never wants to happen. And Darren's is right. My Kuching is actually C13. She is my most common and frequent pity popper. I always make a mark and count on it whenever I get another one, and yeah, she's C13. Awful. All right, so we tried that. I need to see if I can rebalance her a little bit, though, because if I don't, like, these are just really not optimized stats. And then what I want to do is try her with characters like Rosaria, with Ganyu, to see what her E will produce off screen. I also want to try using her burst inside of things like Ayato's burst, possibly. Other on-screen effects that are there and are not coordinated based attacks requiring activity in order to produce damage. Obviously, Dehya is not designed to do that, so we have to work around it. We have to work with the characters that have field-based coordinated attacks. So, like I said, I need to get into some gladiator pieces here. Finally pick some that will actually work. I hate to take pieces off of characters. It's not really my ideal thing. This one doesn't have a lot of crit rate, has a lot of crit damage. I don't really have much of a choice but to go with that right now. And then this has 10.9%. And I think I don't really have any gladiator pieces that have any more than that. 9.7. That one. These are crit rate based, which will arguably just kind of ruin her crit damage. So I do think I'm gonna at least temporarily. I guess I could take Cleese, or I can take Kuching's that has some HP flat, which could help, and some attack. I'm gonna temporarily at least take Kuching's for testing. I hate doing that because I've been working to rebuild that character, but we'll see how this goes. Now, another thing that I will also try with some of her on-screen damage production is, God, that lowered her crit below 50%. I hate that so much. Is to also see whether or not, you know, double 18s would be better than having Pyro on top. So this is one of those things, too, that we need to kind of figure out. Have I tried Emblem of Severed Fate on her yet? No, I haven't tried that set on her yet. That's one that I will try. Now, reasonably, I would say I could temporarily, and I mean very temporarily, borrow my A's emblem set and try that. But that would be purely spiking, you know, her elemental burst damage, which may not be a great use for the character. We'll see. You know, I mean, if it puts out a ton of damage, then yeah, it might work. it might be, you know, something that's worth trying, and it is something I'm going to explore during the stream. Or I could even temporarily take my Aelon's, because my Aelon's emblem set is pretty decent as well. It doesn't have as much ER, I don't think, as my Raiden's does, though. So we'll see. All right, so now we're in Gladiator, but with a bit less crit rate. I don't know that I really need to retest this, but I did give up like 5% crit rate to do this. So the other thing I need to test is to see if I can use Shimenawa's on some of these other pieces. So this is actually where I can kind of mix and match this a little bit to try further to maximize. Because what I want to do is see if I can use a doubling up here. And go full 1818. So this is 10.5 and 13.2. That one might work. And this is 17 and 7. Not bad. So that will be 1818. What is the totals? 41, so our crit rate took a complete bath here. I definitely need to increase our crit rate. That is not going to be enough. To, like, I want something like in the 50% area. To try to gain some stability out of this. Now, I could see if I have a decent attack goblet. And then this is one of those situations where a lot of her abilities scale on attack. So, let's see. Do I not have any? No, it would be... Did they not? I feel like... I thought that was a thing, but are they not? I don't... Maybe they don't exist. Yeah, I don't even think those exist. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't even really think about that until now, but yeah, they don't exist. HP would be a thing, but I don't think that, like, looking at how low the modifiers are, you're not gonna get better that way. Those modifiers are way too low to see an actual increase from going that route, so I'm not anticipating doing that. God, man, I need more crit rate. This is so bad. This one has only 5.8. This is making me want to... All right, let's see. Pyro right here. Let's see if I have any that just have more crit rate, but not necessarily. See, that has a lot. I'd have to steal it from my Klee, but I think losing 11% crit damage to gain that in crit rate would be worth it for testing. Okay. Interesting. Have I done the Archon quest yet? Kyra asks. Thank you, by the way. No, I haven't yet. I'm planning to do that tonight. So those of you who follow me over on Twitter, while I'm doing the Archon quest, I usually try not to stream those because it really does divide my attention from doing the lore exploration. That's the central theme of my channel, you guys, is really focusing on the lore. The streams and getting the mechanics and all this stuff is kind of just a bonus. I really don't like dividing my attention because it causes me to miss things. Sometimes it even messes up my recordings, which means I then have to find another way to get the footage for a video, which can be a problem. So, yeah, I prefer not to stream when I'm doing those. But what I do sometimes is I'll go to my Twitter with like screenshots and talk about some of the revelations as they occur. Wow, super loud late reaction to that on the stream. Jesus. God, I gotta adjust the volume on that thing. Jeez. But yeah, anyway, so usually what I'll do is like I'll take you know, some of my quick reactions to things and post about them over there with a screenshot or something like that. So, you know, at TayValdH over on Twitter. If you are a Twitter member, then by all means do that. But yeah, so that's where you can expect some of my initial takeaways is over there. That's how I've been handling that as of late. And then, you know, obviously I will be doing, you know, video content and any major theory reveals and things like that. So we'll be going from there. THD a main canon. No, I will always and ever be a Mona main. However, Dehya is really good paired with Mona. I do like that combination. It makes for good vaporizes whilst still using Mona as the primary, not Dehya. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm still trying to get a little bit more crit rate out of this, but things are kind of weird right now. I'm still trying to figure out how best I want to do this. What did I do with that one that I had on Klee just now? that just got buried. Because I just took this from Klee, right? Yeah. So I gave up that, but I only gained, you know, some crit rate from that, about 5%. So I didn't quite get over the hump back into the 50% territory yet, which is really what I was trying to do. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that very easily with some of the pieces that I have, unless I start stealing pieces from characters I really don't want to steal pieces from. Because I really don't like doing that at all. No, I really don't have any pieces that I really want to do that with at all. So yeah, none of these are really worth doing that with. So I'm going to do the testing right here. I guess with a little bit lower crit rate is just going to have to be what it is. Now, another option that I'm going to do some testing with is with my Ito's weapon. Obviously, the bonus on Ito's weapon is defense oriented, so it's not going to help me as much. But right now, she's sitting at 2883 attack without, you know, being triggered with Wolf's Gravestone. So we're going to see what the double 18s will do in terms of damage from her E, damage from her burst. And then we'll try it with Ito's weapon after that, and then we'll continue to see how that plays with lots of different characters. Because right now what I'm trying to figure out is which combination of things pushes the best damage from her, and then I can start testing how she plays with other characters when I'm in a pseudo maximized state. So this isn't to say like completely maximized. I need to, obviously, like if I'm really going to go full test for her, I need to consider crowns for her, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. If not, then at least 9s on the skills. But also, you know, min-maxing her stats through, you know, going and getting more artifacts for her specifically. All right, so let's see what kind of damage change we get. That looks lower. So far, those have all been lower. That was higher. That was a lot higher. That was not what I was trying to do. All right. Let's see. That one didn't crit, but I mean, that is... I think I was at 5,400 before, wasn't I? Yeah, I was like 5,440, or no, I was at 5,140. This seems like it's only slightly higher than having it as a pyro add-on. I blocked all of that. That was great. It looks like the coordinated attack can't penetrate his block at all. Interesting. 5276. Yeah, because I think it was 51 and some change. So this was it's only slightly higher. So I don't know that this was actually really worth changing around that much. I gave up a little bit of crit rate to gain just a small amount of damage with this. But, you know, Wolf's Gravestone, once that triggers, we'll see some bigger damage for sure. Yeah, see, what with Wolf's Gravestone up is definitely better damage. Let's throw some of this down now. Oh, he's just gonna block all of this, isn't he? There we go. Just go behind him at least.
I'm going in. Let me scry. Let's get it on.
All right, so this is where again having damage mitigation is nice for characters like Mona. You know, she doesn't have a lot of HP. You gotta dodge really heavily with her, but you know, she's pretty much able to just stand there and tank through it, which is fine. And it allows me to cut through the enemy a lot quicker. So I definitely, like I said, Mona's definitely a good pairing for Dehya. That's not particularly surprising. I didn't really see any kind of great improvement swapping it to that. It was a little bit more, but I did give up some stability of crit rate in order to get that. And I don't know that I really love that. Now, what I can also do is go back to using the other one I had before, wherever the hell that ended up. There it is. Which is gonna put her a little less crit. No, way less crit rate. Yeah. But I need to swap her back up to some of those pyro pieces that I had as well. Because I think that it really wasn't worth it. At least not yet. That is 10.5. This wasn't actually the pieces I was using. I was using Crimson Witch 2-piece. There we go. There's 10 and 17, 11. Those are good pieces. That piece is not very good. Okay. And then it was also on the flower, I think. Crimson Witch. Hey, got a new cheer, Aether. Hey, thanks, bud. All right, let's see. 7.8% there. I think I had stolen the piece from D-Luke for that, and I think I just gave it back to him or something. Yeah. So we will take that one now. Okay, so we're back to 2-2. Although instead of using the Shimenawa's pieces, I have a couple of Gladiator pieces. I think that this was still lower crit rate than before, but it's a little bit higher crit damage. So I have a couple of other things that I can try, but what I do want to do now, instead of Wolf's Gravestone, we're going to pick up Ito's weapon here. And I actually can use that as a, because I got 2 extra ones from failing banners in the past. So we'll see. This is gonna really poke her crit damage up quite high at 250.9, which really makes me want to potentially sacrifice some of her crit damage that I'm gaining from that in favor of maybe a crit rate one that has some good crit damage on top, which I think I have a couple of those that will do that. So what I want to do is see what I have in that and then kind of compare. It should be a Gladiator piece. Yeah, that one's 17. It's not bad. That one's one of the best ones, but I'm not taking that from her. This one has crit damage, but I'd have to level it. And this one being 17.8 wouldn't be too hard to get one that has better than this. I think that touched twice. This one does have HP percent, so I'm kind of, yeah, what the hell. I'm just going to go ahead and level this and we'll see what happens. It'll probably end up being garbage, but we'll see. Oh man, I'm getting a spam phone call. Guys, I get so many spam phone calls lately. It's crazy. Play my break, can't stay, but hope everything's going well, boss man. We'll probably end up watching the video on demand. Cheers. Hey, thanks, bud. I appreciate it, though. Enjoy work. I got defense. Of course, that's one of the ones I really did want it to hit. Let's not be doing that more, okay? Let's just, like, all crit damage, please. Wow. Okay, so I ended up with 1 hit of crit damage and mostly defense on that, which basically transforms that into a super mediocre artifact at best. It's, I think, better than the other one that I had, but only just. This one's still 17 and has some HP at least. This one still has that, like, the same amount of HP, but just like a lot less crit damage than this one by 3%. But this one has HP flat, so honestly I think I'm gonna stick with that one because that was just bad. Man, I've had just the worst luck with some of these things lately. I do have this one, which I could also level up. It also has HP as a percent, so that's probably what I'm going to go ahead and do. But what I want to do first, I want to slow this down just a little bit. Here we go. Let's see what it'll do at 8 first. Hit HP percent, that's not bad. Let's go to 12. Attack, that's flat. And then I'll hit it to 16. And then based on what it gets at 16, we'll determine whether or not I bother to finish it. It's just hitting all these HP stats. And really what I'm trying to get is crit stats, and it won't hit it. So that one's probably going to end up being a fodder piece at some point. Yeah, it has HP stats, but I don't know that that's going to be worth enough to me to try that. All right, so 206, 68.4 seems a little bit better to me. So let's see what we're going to get from Dehya with these kind of stats and see how it impacts the damage. All right. Oh, gotta do it again. So we've been seeing like low to mid 5,000s. Okay. 8,000 from that. I think that was probably one of the higher ones. It's not too surprising, but I want to say that, you know, this is going to be more about stability, right? Like that's kind of where this is going to be centered, because I won't have the Great Wolf's Gravestone buff this way. 4585 seems low. I want to say I was seeing around 5,000. And I think my attack is just a lot lower, and that's probably why this has gone down. So it seems like even with, you know, the higher crit stats, this has gone down due to a lack of attack. Yeah, it's definitely going down due to lack of attack. And even like the vaporizes are only kind of mediocre at this point. So I think I definitely put up a serious reduction in attack numbers. Let's see if I can actually tag him with that before he does the thing. Nice. Okay. And it was okay. Yeah, I feel like, you know, right now we're on Omen, so that's why we're seeing some higher numbers there. Yeah, so this just went down because I gave up so much attack for stability that I don't know that it really helped. Wolf's Gravestone, I think, will be better than this still, just due to the fact that the attack numbers were higher, and that's what everything that she has scales on. So that didn't really have intended effect because I gave up 500 attack to do that. So that didn't really have the intended effect by swapping to that. I would have thought maybe just by sheer fact of having much higher stats that would have worked, but it didn't. So what we will do just before committing to putting the Wolf's Gravestone back on, we're going to go back to the crit damage artifact, which is going to, you know, put her under 50%, just barely. But it's going to increase her crit damage by 50%. So we're going to see where this will land her damage, and see if, you know, like we can just put the, you know, the pedal to the metal, you know, like just go all in for crit damage to see if this will produce better numbers. Again, I have to actually crit with a less than 30 or with a less than 50%. All right, 5385. That was not that much more than what I've been used to. I want to say 54 was kind of a standard before, so this is still not looking to be worth it compared to the Wolf's Gravestone. Now, her signature weapon adds crit damage as well, like Ito's weapon, but it does have an impact on attack, I do believe, right? So we're trying to kind of figure out where we land with some of these with Dehya, but I don't know that it's going exactly the way I wanted it to on that one. Alright, come on. That was a pretty good vaporize, at least. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely consistently prove good vaporizes off of Mona from that. For sure. Alright, just go ahead and change states, man, so I can finish you off again. Get some energy for my Bennett. Ow. Oh, I barely missed that. Yeah, it's definitely nice to be able to avoid some of that. Alright, let's see what we're gonna get with this. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really, I would say, worth it compared to just having Wolf's Gravestone. I think was just more, it was slightly more damage. So like all of these big crit numbers, they're really not resulting in much more damage. Now, granted, she's at 888. She's not at some of the other numbers here that I could have, like, you know, 9s or 10s, but we'll see. Really hate how if a character doesn't do big damage, the community says they suck. The same thing happened with Kokomi. Yeah, no, that and look at what happened with Kokomi though. Everybody said that Kokomi was going to be garbage, but now everybody understands that she's a great healer and a support buffer, and that's exactly what I think the situation is for Dehya. Is I think, you know, she's going to be looked at as a good damage mitigator and a coordinated attacker. This is going to be a support character, you guys. I'm telling you right now. That's where she's gonna find her place, is providing support. So that weapon didn't really work. I think the loss of attack compared to Wolf's Gravestone just didn't end up being worth it. So we're gonna go back to here. 47.4, 162.7. It's almost 100 less crit damage, but I think the extra attack really made the difference. So we'll do one more test on this, and then with these stats again, just to kind of see how it compared straight off the backside of that. And then we're gonna try some different characters. Okay. Nope, did that too early. Yeah, 55-43. Like, these are more consistently high numbers. 55-43. More attack means more damage. Like, the crit numbers are definitely secondary to attack for Dehya. And so this is again where, like, I would not try using an HP Sands because that just does not connect to enough, I don't think. Now, what I will say, an interesting opportunity you might have with Dehya, and I've been testing all of this with, with Bennett so far, Pyro Resonance. And I think Pyro Resonance will still be key because you get a good attack bonus, but you can also get Hydro Resonance if I were to get rid of Kazuha for, say, somebody like Kikomi. And we can probably still see more damage because we're going to get more HP. Now, you can see Wolf's Gravestone procced. We were in Bennett's field there too. Like, that did increase damage pretty dramatically, I would say. Let me get more of that going. I can also, obviously use Kazuha to further increase that damage. I can also use Omen to do that same effect. Weak. And that. For that down, and let's see what we're gonna get with this. I mean, hard pressed to call that bad. I mean, she basically ate him alive with all the buffs on top. But I mean, it's not huge numbers, right? It's around 22k back to back, and I think that like, I had some resistances and stuff stacked up like that. But what is my Dehya's HP right now? Let's see. She's at 23,436. So not like super high or anything. It is kind of a secondary stat. Like I said, the modifiers for that are pretty low. So what I want to do now is play the Resonance game to see how that will impact her, because that's going to push her HP to 26,894. So it gave her about 3,000 HP. A lot of HP, not really, but we'll see what impact 3,000 more HP will have. It also gives me more off-screen Hydro opportunities. So we'll kind of see how that ends up working. Captain Danger says 21k is huge damage numbers to me. I mean, I'm used to a lot bigger. Like, I can get 50k charge shots off of my Ayaka. I've seen 80 to 90k charge shots off of Mona. So 20 in the 20s is not big numbers to me. And of course, my Raiden Shogun can hit for like 600,000 if I prime everything up right. All right, let's get the Bennett buff again. We're gonna see, actually, before I even do that, let's just see what the little bit of extra HP produces. So it did, like, it gave it about what, maybe around extra 100 damage on the high end of those coordinated attacks. About 100 extra damage for 3,000 HP. Not a big number, but it did give an increase. So we're kind of seeing how you can kind of play with the resonance options to get some gains there. All right, so let's go with this. I didn't throw anything from Mona in, but let's see what kind of damage numbers we're gonna get without that. Oh, he walked into the vaporize range there. So, I mean, getting okay numbers, particularly now that Wolf's Gravestone procced, it went up a bit. Okay. Let's just go ahead and go Omen this time. You can get out of here with that crap. 126k. Yeah, I mean, it definitely cut him down relatively quick. Having Kikomi there for extra vaporizes is not bad. My Kikomi does have Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer. So, that's going to throw another buff out for the next character that follows her. So I could also stage the ordering of that a little bit differently. If I went Mona first, I could have had a little bit more off-screen damage and thus more Hydro applying on the field behind Dehya. So let me get Bennett's burst going again. Ow.
Let me scry.
And then now to Dehya. Okay, yeah, I mean, that was about 20k. I mean, amazing, no. But, I mean, okay, that was around 30 with the Wolf's Gravestone proc. So I got him into the next stage pretty quick. Let's go ahead and get some energy on my Bennett. No. And let's draw him out.
Everybody stand.
And try again. Yeah, about 30k from the proc on that. Not bad. Yeah, I mean, like, so I think the burst numbers were around 17,000 there. I didn't see any like burst vaporizes off of that, so you can, you know, that's 1.5 times would be the add-on to that. I mean, it dies pretty fast. Mary, the title of the stream cracked me up. This is the kind of science we need to see. Nobody does science. People should do more science.
What you see is what you get, and whether you take on the challenge is entirely up to you.
Let's see. You C6'd your Bennett because I got tired of the red notification dot. Yeah, Captain Danger, I also C6'd my Bennett, but because I was just on a spree of killing red dots and I did it and didn't think about it, and as soon as I did it I was like, what have I done? Like straight up, like, you know, the Anakin moment. I accidentally C6'd my Bennett, and you can't undo it. What's done is done. So yeah, I did that a very long time ago. All right. That was, God, I did that in probably the first 6 months of the game. All right. Let's go again. I want to get her burst going.
Let's light it up.
And try lighting her burst up for some vaporize, just to see what kind of damage her burst will generate with vaporize.
Shoot it on. Hold the line.
So really quick, let's just see kind of what we can throw up here. I mean, obviously Mona instead of Dehya during that period is better. But I am also going to be trying this with Rosaria, with Ganyu. Maybe Ayaka could be interesting. Ayato could be interesting. We have some options here that we need to try. I want to get him into the second phase here. Down that too. Ow.
Let's light it up.
All right. So now I want to get some vaporizes for her burst. That should do that. Oh, I didn't get her burst going yet. There it is. All right. Let's go. That was the wrong character first. Then Kikomi attack. All right. Okay, definitely saw like a 27 or 28,000 in there. Like, with the vaporizes on top, like you're throwing a lot of things. Like, this is how you're probably going to maximize damage from Dehya if you're gonna, you know, force the what is it, the square peg into the round hole kind of idea. You're trying to make her into a DPS, and it's maybe not necessarily what the character's intended to be. But I think this is how you're going to do that. You're gonna do that by you know, giving her an environment where she can thrive. You're going to have a character like Bennett to give her attack resonance or pyro resonance, which is an attack increase. You're going to give her characters like Mona or Kikomi to increase HP, or you can get rid of hydro resonance and go with Kazuha, which is probably arguably better, and another hydro character on top to give good vaporize opportunities. Now, we can try, and I'm going to do that right now. We're going to try something for trying some melts out now. So we're going to start with Rosaria. I think she's still built.
Sooner we're done, the better.
Been a little while since I checked that character, though. Oops, did not mean to do that. Let's make sure. Okay, like she doesn't have just high crit rate, but not very much else going on right now. She's a 2/2 build. I haven't really used this character in a very long time. She needs crit damage real bad. Okay. feel like if I had a spare crit damage helmet, that would be ideal for her, but I don't really think I have one. This is okay. That's the off piece. So I don't think I have any loose crit damage helmets to kind of rebalance her, which would probably be the ideal way to go, but I don't have any on-set gladiator ones that I can take for. I guess I have this one on my Klee, and I never use Klee, so yeah, I think that'll be fine. 72, 156.5. I think I like those numbers a little better. What is her? God, he has no ER at all. And 11. So I do need to put a little bit more effort into my Rosaria at some point. She's been kind of underused for a long time, so we'll see. I want to see what the melts will do for damage production for her, because obviously Pyro following that is a 2x combo. So I want to see what kind of damage we'll see from that. You're trying to set her up with an environment, like I said, that will allow her to succeed. That's what you're trying to produce with Dehya. Right now I've got maybe too many different things. I saw a melt in there. Missed.
You can't run.
26k, 12k on top. Not bad. All right. Interesting. I can try that again with Bennett on top as well. Right now I just need to get Rosaria's burst again. Okay. Let's try this. Nope, wrong character. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. Oh, I saw a reverse melt there, but it was the wrong direction. But overall, I mean, the pacing of that wasn't bad. Again, it's, you know, it's not necessarily the 1-2 punch kind of build where you just obliterate this guy. But it has merits.
Let me try.
Let's see. Reverse melting. Want the off-screen stuff. But I think that this is still, you know, this is still trying to force the square peg into the round hole idea.
You can't run.
It's not really what I think she's for. It really isn't. All right, got that burst ready. This one should be almost there. Okay, we got this one. All right, Bennett, Rosaria, and let's see, 33k. Ooh. Okay. Some of those numbers weren't too bad. Yeah, I mean, we were seeing like good melt numbers there, and he died again relatively quickly. It's not like, you know, full speed, you know, 1-2 down, but you know, I wouldn't call that bad. Obviously, getting a character like Dehya into the spiral abyss is going to be a better way to determine, you know, what the actual like kill pacing is for a character. But still, not bad. I don't know that I loved it, but it's kind of hard to get a great beat on how that was actually working. But here's another character I would like to try with Dehya that I think will produce good results as well. So for a very long time, my Ayaka team has looked like this. I'm gonna see. I definitely want to keep this resonance if I can. So I guess the first character I'm gonna try and get rid of is Kazuha, just to see what happens. Kazuha definitely helps cut that resistance, which is really nice, and it gives you just a really, really good boost to damage. But we'll see what happens with this team utilizing Dehya's off-screen damage, because this could end up resulting in really high damage.
Let's get it on. Whirling snow.
I don't know that it's proccing enough to really see the benefit from it. All right, come on, stop blocking everything. We'll see. I might need to still do some buff plugging here.
Take your true form. Look alive. Take flight.
All right, so now the numbers are going to be forced to be much higher because everything is buffed. It's not getting as many of the pyro applications as I would like to see, and this is maybe where Ganyu might be the better play. Let's see what we can get when let's see if these will play well enough together. Come on, trigger. I mean, I felt like that slowed things down a little bit compared to just having Kazuha there. So I definitely feel like that it didn't seem like it was tallying up on screen very well, did it? So let's see one more time, because trying it once is maybe not a good indication, but we'll see. Do I not remember her crit rate share, or do you not want to use it in this team? What are you talking about? I don't know if I know what it is that you're getting at there.
My will embodied.
Okay. I mean, so that was a 44k, but I can get better than that damage. Just okay. Yeah, I can definitely get better than that with some other situations. Really just using Kazuha in this team, I can get better damage than that with her E. See, he keeps blocking those, which is kind of ruining my ability to test this appropriately. See, that just didn't really have very much punch to it, did it? Alright, I need to get that back again. Let's run him over here. I mean, so you can obviously get a free melt in there, but that's not maybe the best use of it. Yeah, I don't know, like, because it's a melt, it is 2 times the damage on the triggers, so that's why it's coming up 11k instead of that usual, like, 5 and some change, like 5.5-ish damage that we were used to seeing. So that's why we're seeing that number, but 11 or 12k is hardly like amazing, given that I can produce much punchier charge shots with Kazuha on this team. So I don't think that this is the way to use her, at least not with her. I don't think that works great. So let me go ahead and throw Kazuha back into the team.
Want me to come along?
No. And I need to go, God, where even is, okay, I think I took apart my Ganyu team. So, God, I hate to dissect that team right now. Yeah, I never use my Edo team. Okay. Let's see, where is Ganyu? There she is.
What are my
I
orders?
kind of need to keep resonance, if at all possible. Albedo will go away because that'll be a off-screen slot for
Time to
Dehya.
get down to business.
And she's also the damage mitigator. So I'm kind of thinking I don't know if that I necessarily need a battery, but I'm gonna go with a battery producer anyways.
Understood. I just have to
All
stand
right.
here, right?
Okay. Let's see what we can get out of Ganyu with Dehya. All right, so I've got all the resonance going. Let's see.
Let me try my
Just buff everything up here.
Take your true form. Look alive. Hi. Allow me. Born of ice and frost.
I mean, it definitely added up. Oh my God. Well, it definitely popped him into the next state really fast.
This will do. Fall before me.
Oh, too early.
Buckle up. Access denied.
I mean, it definitely stacks up some extra damage you wouldn't ordinarily have with your Ganyu. That was probably one of the faster kills that I've had on him. And again, this is one of those things where this is the thing that I was talking about on Twitter. This particular kind of comp situation is what I was talking about on Twitter for sure, where being that Dehya is built to provide damage mitigation as an option, she replaces a shielder. So instead of using Zhongli to shield your Ganyu from getting interrupted in the middle of damage, you just use Dehya to give you interruption resistance and some damage mitigation. You still want to keep a decent healer around, obviously. So we'll do that again. But I do think that this is, you know, a good option. Now, this also, generally speaking, a lot of people don't really like using Ganyu without Zhongli. But let's be honest, if you start playing the game late, or you started playing the game late, like tomorrow, who knows when the next time Zhongli's going to run. Granted, the Archons do tend to rerun more than other characters, I think. But it could be a while. And characters like Dehya could be a great stand-in for that if you don't mind not being completely safe. There are other options that you can use for that, but honestly, I think Dehya might be one of the better ones. So, you know, you can obviously run, I would say, sets like Tenacity might even be decent for that. Like if you're just trying to increase damage on your other characters while providing a reaction resource, then you might still get some good opportunities out of using something like Tenacity on her. Let's throw this down too. Why not?
Cheap tricks.
48k, not bad. 41. Oh, why not? I got Ganyu's burst on the field right now.
Born of ice and frost.
Oh, still caught him with the backside of that, so that's fine. 66k, not bad at all.
Hold the line.
Rude.
Take your truth.
We'll let this recharge back up now. Kind of did that out of order.
Let's get it off. Access denied.
Where is he? There he is. The only problem is I got so many effects on screen, it's a little hard to actually track the target at times. Actually, kind of do want him to give me a damage just so I can see how the interruption resistance ends up working out. I didn't kill him quite as fast this time because I kind of mixed up some of the rotations, I think. Oh, I totally missed. Kind of do want him to hit me. Yeah, I mean, just having that extra proc of pyro damage on there is not bad at all.
This will end you.
Well, that'll definitely see some big damage because I just procced Wolf's Gravestone. Yeah, she didn't get interrupted from that, so that's arguably one of his harder hits. She took the damage, but it didn't stop her from aiming, which is what you want. We'll try that one again. Your physical Dehya works super well. My Dendro, Lomine, and Kokomi. Well, I mean, that's one of the things. Characters like Claymore characters can be physical characters relatively easily. You know, you just got to put them with an Electro and a Cryo and set up that whole build up. But honestly, like, I don't know how much I like that as a concept just because Eula exists. Now, obviously, Eula hasn't rerun in an absolute age at this point. So, you know, a lot of people don't have Eula. So there is that. But yeah, you would have to have an Electro in your team to do that.
Do your master's bidding.
Changing the order of things just a little bit. I mean, I'm getting pretty good results from that because every main shot is dropping the reaction.
Manifest. Shoot.
Nope.
Taste my blood.
Let's get it on. Ha.
Let's go ahead and throw this down too. Actually, here, let's do this too. And Dehya Burst. Let's see what Ganyu's Burst will help with at all during this period. Not really that much.
Born of ice and frost.
God, I mean, listen, he died pretty fast though. Like all said and done, it probably would have been faster if I'd have just kept letting the Dehya's E play with Ganyu's main attack. But yeah, I mean, like he died pretty fast under these circumstances. I really don't have anything to complain about. And you know, you might be more inclined to dodge, but if you don't get your dodge, you won't ruin your your attacks, just because, you know, you can now just mitigate that damage instead.
Transfiguration. Hold the line. Access denied.
So yeah, he came right to me. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much right on with Ganyu's recharge time. It's not, you know, a dead-on match, but it's certainly not bad at all.
Buckle up. My will embodied. Allow me. Born of ice and frost.
Taste my blade.
Oh, where'd he go? There he is. Ooh, 70k. Ouch. That was a huge hit. Yeah, I mean, that was a huge melt from Ganyu. The damage isn't necessarily crazy consistent, but it is I would say pretty effective. Like this is the kind of team comp, like I said on Twitter, you know, like 4 or 5 days ago, that I thought was most likely to be successful for Dehya. You throw her in with the Ganyu comp if you have Ganyu. Or you throw her in with, you know, a character who you rely on for cryo output in general, because you're going to be seeing melts. This is a character that, you know, produces coordinated pyro outputs. So, you know, even if the damage from those aren't necessarily the best, if you can get the pyro on first, you'll get things like that 71k shot that I had from my Ganyu. I did really like that. That was a lot of damage. I don't really have anything to complain about with that. So far, I would say, you know, using Mona as a primary, using Ganyu as a primary helps to make Dehya pretty potent as a team character. I haven't tried to see what my Dehya will do as a physical. I suppose I can try that. There's no real reason why I can't do that. But I do have to change a character in my team comp to see how effective that can actually be. I would probably throw Ganyu because it's a different team concept at that point. So characters like Raiden or Fischl will be more ideal for that. I'm going to throw Raiden because my Fischl is still in flux from a rebuild that I'm working on. So we'll see what I can get with it like this. Obviously, I'm going to try as best as I can to stay off of Raiden, just because my Raiden will absolutely obliterate this thing and kind of ruin the testing. But let's see what happens.
There is no escape.
Superconducted.
Let's get it on.
I mean, I guess it does okay white damage. You're getting overloads as well.
You asked for it.
I mean, overload is, you know, I already have a pretty potent overload comp, but my Ganyu comp definitely was doing this a lot quicker. And that's just because probably she doesn't have the greatest,
Illusion shattered. My will embodied. Transfiguration.
the greatest stats. She's not really oriented for physical. I would probably want to try, you know, like a set like Pale Flame or something if I were really going to lean into this. I could just swap her gear really quick with my Eula and see.
Shine down.
All right. Well, I'm not going to play with you anymore. You did. Yeah, let me try just really quick. I'll swap her gear out with my Eula, just to see what a Pale Flame set, which is, you know, an artifact set for physical damage, will do with this character. But I mean, Eula's just always going to be better at that job. So again, this is one of those things where you're kind of forcing the character to do a job that they're not really intended to do. Whereas I feel like with Mona, with Ganyu, this is kind of what I think that they were intended to do. So let's see here. This one, where is the next one? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I'm sure it's on here somewhere. I am overlooking this somewhere in the mess of all these artifacts. There it is. Oh, this is off piece. This is the piece I shouldn't change because it's, oh, actually I need to probably change that. So I think she's still, no, she's using attack. Okay, I was gonna say, I thought maybe I had the wrong piece on her, but no, she's using attack. Cryo doesn't make sense for her right now. All right, and then this one. All right. That leaves the pyro piece here, which is fine. I could also go with a physical one. I don't know that I have any really good leveled physical pieces. And that's probably why I have that on her. Actually, one of these days I really do need to level a good just physical damage bonus, because I never really did. And I have some good ones on hand now, and it's one of the reasons why I never did it in the past, was just because I didn't have access to any good ones. But now I do. And it's been a long time since I really thought about doing it, but I think I will do it right now because I have this one with double crit stats already. So, it doesn't have any ER though, which is sad for Eula because my Eula needs ER. I know that's the character I'm not really working on right this second, but I kind of am at the same time. I wonder if I have any. Yeah, that one didn't have ER on it in the first place, so she's not losing anything by leveling that one. So I think I'm just gonna do it and see what happens. Yeah. Let's go. Crit stat. That was it. Hit crit rate twice. It didn't hit crit damage at all. Lame. All right, let's see what I can do. I'm gonna go ahead and 20 this one just to see what happens, but I kind of have low expectations for it at this point. Yeah, most of these are bad, so I don't really care. Let's see. Bad. Yeah, okay. We'll go with this one. Attack, not crit rate. So that one pretty much leveled up awful. I honestly, I don't think I'll even use that because yeah, it hit crit rate twice, but it didn't really, it just kept loading into attack and defense. I'm gonna use it for her for right now for this test, but that's gonna be about the extent of that. I don't know that I would throw that on my Eula. That thing is kind of garbage. All right. I didn't even look and see what her stats are sitting on right now. I want to say her stats are going to be fairly unbalanced. 54, 151, 25k, and 2529 attack. All right, well, let's see.
Unleash! Illusion shattered!
I mean, just doing 8,000 on the normals. 7,000, 8,000, 14,000 with the last hit. Certainly not bad. 9,000. You have to keep them super conducted though, so you got to keep reapplying. That's one of the good things about having what I think is C1 or C2 Shenhe is that I can keep reapplying it. 15k, 18k. I mean, okay, she's doing pretty good damage. Maybe not quite the numbers that
Transfiguration.
I would usually see with Eula, but still pretty spicy numbers overall. I really can't complain about that. Let's now throw a few extras on. 12, 15, 17. I mean, okay, those numbers were not bad. It ended up being a little better than I thought it would be. I'm gonna try that one more time. Like, as a physical with the right characters, it seems like maybe you can kind of force her into some decent damage. And yeah, you're right. Maybe with Mika, that might be worthwhile again to try. All right, it's been super conducted. So let's see what kind of damage we get with all these buffs. All right, now I got the Wolf's Gravestone.
Take your true form.
46k from my Shen.
Illusion shattered. My will embodied.
Super conducted again. Get the buff from Kokomi. And 10k, 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 12. I mean, the numbers aren't bad. Like, it's definitely hard pressed to call those numbers bad. You can just kind of dig in and brawl with her like this, which isn't bad. Like, you're seeing really consistent 10 to 12k numbers, 17, 18k at the high end. And that's with relatively modest, relatively modest crit stats. Like, I could really dial it up if I wanted to. And like steal this for her or this and go high for crit stats, and we'll see what happens with this. Because we're like here, we're not even relying on her physical or on her pyro damage that much. Like it's more of an incidental thing. Like you just kind of get some pyro sometimes. And you don't even really want to use her other stats other than just what they offer for some added damage. But it's kind of weird. You're kind of, again, it is forcing, you know, the square peg in a round hole for sure. By definition, 11k, 11. 18k, not bad.
Transfiguring.
Let's throw the buffs up again.
Illusion shattered.
And it's electro charged. There we go. Superconducted. 9k. 9. Okay, he's reset now. 15k on that last hit.
By ordinance divine.
Ah, whatever. I'm just gonna hit him with Trident. Get out of here. They should definitely do something with her and Burgeon, like a totally niche artifact set just for her. So, I mean, that has happened. There are definitely some niche artifact sets that exist just for specific characters, like Ocean Hued Clam or whatever for Kokomi. That is a thing that exists where it's basically just designed to push a certain character. And it could very much still happen for Dehya. Okay, so yeah, physical isn't really bad, but I feel like Melt with Ganyu has been that, and Vaporize with Mona has been the two things that make the most sense because they utilize her kit the best. Physical does work, it does. It arguably doesn't make a lot of sense just because you're basically underserving her kit, but it does work. I definitely was able to show that it does work. So I forget who suggested that they were trying that, but it does work. You were 100% right. It does work. You know, 12 to 18k normals is always going to be good. However, the build-up for it is maybe a little less controllable than just using somebody like Eula to do it, if you have her. So if you have Eula and you're using Dehya as a physical attacker, you're pretty much just counting the days until you get Eula. Because Eula's gonna do that job way better and kind of invalidate your Dehya. The idea of getting, you know, your giving your Dehya her best life combination of characters and items is going to be to give her a job where she's not easily outsourced to another character, because, you know, the whole physical thing, yeah, like there's going to be another character that will outdo her really easily, which is Eula. Now, this is again comparing a limited character to a standard banner character, but honestly, I don't know how much that matters, particularly if you start getting C1, C2 on the characters. So let's try Nahida with her as well. Now my Nahida is only I would say strictly okay, and we'll get Bennett back out here.
You want me on your team?
And we're pretty much just going for lots of pyro output, but we can also try you know, buffing it up a little bit more, but we'll try a few things here. Maybe Raiden for this, but I don't know if that's gonna be the play. We'll see. But I think so far Ganyu and Mona are the better options here. All right. Back into the fight.
Make yourselves at home. Commit it to memory. Look alive. There is no escape.
So that's lighting up kind of the wrong stuff. Aggravate. I mean, like, it's just a lot of burning, right? Bad, no, although she is almost down. I'm gonna be a little bit more careful about that. Oops. Alright, well, let's see what that'll do. I mean, decent numbers. I mean, it added up pretty quick off the backside of her burst. It wasn't like super high build up on that, but it wasn't bad. Let's get Raiden out of there. And we'll go with let's try a hydro applier. Let's see. Well, Kokomi will buff, Mona will buff through her Omen, but I also know that Mona's already gonna have really good synergy with Dehya anyways, so I'm gonna try this as opposed to just being a buff, because I think that this is just going to be better in general, as opposed to, again, like trying to force Dehya into roles that she kind of wasn't meant for.
Let's get it on. Let's light it up. Delves into death. Committed to memory.
All right, so yeah, I mean, we're seeing like Burgeon add-ons here. Ow.
Decided by destiny.
That is not what I was trying to do, but okay, we'll play that game. Oh, I didn't get the dodge. Ah, he still died. He died while killing my Mona. That's hilarious. I mean, he died pretty quick in that combo. It did work. There are probably some things that I can do to kind of spice that up a little bit. So let me feed Mona really quick just to give her some health before we get back into that. I'll just feed everybody. Bennett's never been the greatest healer. He's not bad at when he has a burst to burn. Hell or high water strats. Let's go. Can't stay for long this time, but interested to hear your thoughts after some experimental Dehya Descenders just made that hashtag up. I like it. Yeah, so right now, J-Side, I think you were on last night when I was messing around with Dehya and Mona at the same time. That still works really nicely. I have very little complaint about how she works with Mona. That continues to work good in pretty much every combination that I've thrown for her so far. But arguably, I think, you know, as good as she works with Mona, she works just as good, if not slightly better, with Ganyu. Because Ganyu won't be interrupted, so you can continue to aim and get your shot off. If you don't want to dodge it, you don't have to, because Dehya will mitigate some of that damage. And I was seeing, you know, really good 40, 50, 60. I think I had one in the upper 70s for charge shots off of Ganyu. So, like, you can see some really good number returns from Ganyu. And I think that maybe Ganyu is probably one of the better team comps as well. So I would say team comps based around utilizing Mona as a primary with Dehya for off-screen, or off-screen Dehya for enabling Ganyu. These are the kind of numbers that you're trying to catch. And these are the things that prove that Dehya is not useless. These are the teams that you really want. I'm definitely going to like release like a quick little type up of like the kind of results that I saw on my Twitter after the stream, but I'm kind of getting on towards the end here. All right, so let's try this again. One test is never enough. Dehya is not useless. Yes, agreed. Dehya is not useless. Yes, we shall spar. And this is, again, still using Wolf's Gravestone, which I've been doing the whole time so far.
Let's get it on!
The Temple of Wisdom. I see everything.
I gotta get behind him. There we go. Stop blocking everything. God. Annoying.
This will do.
Teamwork is strength!
Committed to memory.
I'm ready.
Look alive! Hi! Let me scry!
Yeah, see, this is where it definitely lights up, because Mona just blows him up once everything gets going. And like having Nahida here for additional additional damage options here too, like it really does, it all plays off very well. I am very much liking having Nahida in this group. Burgeon Nahida with Mona and Dehya, like this works nice. Bennett definitely obviously is an easy go-to choice here too. I think that this is a similar kill pacing to, you know, like how Ganyu was kind of pushing through it. We'll go again. I need to get a little bit more energy.
Sharing my knowledge.
Delves into destiny.
save it for the other side. Here, let's throw this while Nahida's still tagged it.
We've got ourselves a tough cookie.
Trigger into the next state.
Shadows of fate.
Yeah, he just blows up with all of these things on him. And then, you know, if you have, you know, Nahida in this group, if you have a lot of enemies around you, you're only going to start doing more damage because of how Nahida works too. So, like, you know, this team comp with more enemies will pay off more dividends faster, I think. I did not try albedo with Dehya yet. Just given that I've actually kind of been working a rebuild for him for forever. He's been kind of like a constantly forgotten character, but his defense is quite high. I don't think I never got around to like properly crowning him, which is something I had been meaning to do for a long time. What day is this? Today is, whoa, it's actually today. Ooh, I need to go farm those today. Because I actually, now that you mentioned that, yeah, I've been wanting to increase his burst level. But actually I can throw him in just to see if, you know, the kill pacing seems faster than having Nahida here. It also adds shields, which, you know, does increase the, you know, kind of the thickness of the characters depending on what kind of enemies you're fighting, if they're actually using Hydro or Pyro. Hydro or Pyro. There we go. Yeah, if you're using either of those things, then, you know, they're going to add up a little bit better. Where the hell is albedo? Is he one of my 90s? He is one of my 90s.
Let's investigate this further.
I agree. That is a correct assumption there, albedo. You're actually trying to find her strengths as a DPS. I want to make her burst hit hard. I'm trying to see if Emblem is better or Glad plus Crimson Witch gets better results. I know I can buff Pyro with Xiangling and Bennett, for example. So yes, those are some things that I did try as well. I'm finding quickly when trying to maximize Dehya as the on-screen damage dealer that you are kind of forcing a square peg into a round hole. Because like the best damage I was able to see out of her burst was like 21k a hit. This is at 888s and a Wolf's Gravestone. That is R5, by the way. Or is it R4? I think the Wolf's Gravestone is R4. Yeah, it's R4. So again, this is, you know, this is a really good Wolf's Gravestone. It's a weapon that's definitely going to help, you know, maximize her damage output, right? But it's only producing so much. 21 to 23k damage on her burst with this build, which is a 2-2 build. It's Gladiator, Crimson Witch. It's 49.3, 157.3. I do think, yes, using something like Emblem of Severed Fate, which is actually something I do want to test next, could be a way to push more damage from her burst directly. But I don't know how great a use that will be for her, you know, in comparison to, say, you know, running her as an off-screen damage producer. Now, there's definitely merit there. It's just like a fun way to play the character if that's how you want to play her, which is always, I think, always a relevant option if you just like have characters you want to play because they're fun. That's pretty much how I've treated Mona since release. Like after a while I kind of let go of, you know, using her as like a main go-to meta option, but Dehya might help me make that happen again. Any advice about the characters in the second half of the update? I'm considering getting Ayaka or Shenhe. I have none, and I'm guaranteed any recommendations. Ayaka. She's really one of the best damage dealers in the game. If you have Kazuha, it will make it even better. If you have Shenhe, if you can get them both, you have, you know, the very makings of one of the best teams in the game, which is Ayaka, Shen, Kokomi, and Kazuha. If you can put those 4 characters together, it's one of the best comps in the game. There are ways to kind of work around it, but if you had to choose one, Ayaka. She's really, really, really good. Shen is a really good character as well, but she's kind of more an enabler. Like her and Ayaka work really, really well together. Shen can be used very effectively as like a mono cryo pusher. So like if you want to play her with Chongyun, you can do that, which I actually found a lot of success doing that. You kind of have to set her up exactly right to do that, but you can put his field down and she will push really good cryo damage really fast. So I have found that to be a good successful way of using her as well. So it kind of depends on what you're trying to go with, but Ayaka is really one of the best like meta carries. She really is. So I would say Ayaka. Cryo, Zhongli, Xiao, gimmicky builds. Ugh. No, thank you. All right, so yeah, we're gonna try this with Albedo, and we're gonna see what happens here. Oh man, my Albedo is actually slapping this guy pretty good though, isn't he? Get back over here so I can get better damage down. It's causing me to miss all the attacks because he's too far away.
My vision's clouded.
Ow.
Let me scribe. Fate is upon
Here,
you.
have that too. That was pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, that still died pretty quick because my Albedo's damage procs are pretty high because I've been trying to stack more and more defense off of him over time. That wasn't bad. I feel like I could have done better still. Let's try it again. I'd never do it just once. Let's try it again.
What's one more?
Coming to be.
Delves into death. Look alive.
See if I can get Bennett's burst going. All right, that's up.
Dead meat.
Wow. Yeah, my procs coming off of my Albedo are definitely solid. I can't complain about those at all.
Great undertaking.
I definitely need to finish leveling his burst though.
Let's get it on.
Come on, come back into the Albedo circle. Yeah, I definitely think that this team works really well too. That was actually a really good suggestion. Now Nahida will, I think there's a possibility that using Nahida for having lots of enemies on the screen might be the better way to go. But Albedo certainly, like with like an instance like this where there's less targets on the screen, that works really well. I'm gonna do it one more time just because I thought that was fun. And let's see how quick it goes again.
Let me try mine.
Coming to be.
Let's light it up.
Get a burst.
Going in. Delves into death.
Oh, don't push me out of the circle, you douche. All right. Of course, he's standing right on the edge, so I can't really get everything going at the same time.
Let me scribe.
This will do. One strike.
All right, well, got through that. And why not?
Feel this ancient power.
Oh, I missed.
Let's get it on. Delves into destiny.
Yeah, that definitely stacks up quick, though. I do think that like I said, I think Nahida might arguably work more consistently for lots of enemies on the screen at the same time, but I really can't complain about that at all. My problem with fighting this specific enemy is that it loves, like, I've got Bennett, I've got Dehya, and Albedo who are all dealing damage within a circle, and those circles are kind of all over the place, and this enemy loves to dodge out of those circles, which is a little bit frustrating. I feel like there are certain enemies that won't do that as much. Like I could probably go up to, you know, kill like just some of the samurai enemies and stuff like that, or over here. And where they're less likely to dodge out of it because they die pretty fast. And we can try that. And then after that, what I think I'm going to do is go back to the primary again. And kind of go mono pyro and with her burst and kind of see what kind of numbers I can push out of her like that.
Burst forth.
Look alive.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I definitely have no complaints about like the kind of damage you can push down with this. God, another freaking spam call. There's a little bit of a buildup, I suppose. If I had to like complain about anything, like, you know, you got to throw down effects from multiple characters to really get it to, you know, kind of play nice the way you want to.
Coming to be.
Let's get it on.
Yeah, I mean, like my Mona can sit here and just get hit in the face and it really doesn't matter, which is definitely nice. Like, he walked into the circle and just died instantly.
Leave my space.
Oh, this guy. All right, I mean, you can stand in the water. That's cool. All these other guys are gonna come get death real quick too. Come on. Yeah, so I think they have to be in the circle for it to work. It's not like some other abilities where if you're in the circle you get the effect. They have to be in the circle for that coordinated attack to actually apply. He just died fast because my Albedo's coordinated attacks hit hard. Yeah, that actually does work nicely. I kind of wonder, you know, like this is like a non-resonance team. Like it's, you know, it's 4 different elements or 3 different elements. Have a great rest of the stream heading out. Best luck in your experimentation. Hyped to hear your thoughts on Dainsleif quest. Yeah, I am looking forward to playing through that. I'm planning to do it tonight. All right, let's see. All right, so the next thing I want to try, like I said, is going to be a pyro or a mono pyro again, but with Emblem of Severed Fate, just to see if Dehya's burst can actually put up any kind of like solid numbers with that as an enabler. Now, obviously my Bennett is also using Noblesse, so that's also going to help with that too. Ario asks, have I given my thoughts on Dehya or am I still testing? I'm still testing her out. I'm pretty much getting ready to hit like the last set of tests here with one last artifact set to try, and then I'm gonna kind of lay out what my takeaway is from it after that. So what I'm gonna do, I need to see, I forget which of my characters naturally has better ER from this. That adds 55. So I think they're both around the same, with Raiden's maybe being a touch higher, but with lower crit stats.
We mercs have one simple rule.
So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna very temporarily. Oh god, I've been using the wrong one of these for a little while too. I need to go back to Pyro. I need to put that back on her. So that probably wasn't helping any with some of the Pyro applications because they were just a little bit lower than they needed to be. Okay, so I want to go with the emblem set, so I'm going to borrow pieces from Yelan to do that. Those are definitely going back afterwards. Okay. Let's see. And the last one should be up here somewhere. Where are you? Oh, no. My Yelan's goblet is on set. So I have to get that from somebody else, which will be... I have to have a good emblem one from somebody that I can borrow. I could borrow it from Raiden or one of them. I'm kind of leaning towards Raiden just because the stats are the best. So yeah, I will borrow it from Raiden. I hate to do it, but I have no choice. Okay. So kind of for crit stats overall. 159.6 crit damage. Not great, but not horrible. And then 152.4% energy recharge. Honestly, I feel like all of this could be better. Let me see something. Is this? It is HP, and that's because I borrowed that from Yelan. So let me do something really quick. Because I would like that to be ER to fully get... I mean, this, granted, HP is a stat that will work with Dehya, but as I already found out, attack in the sand slot does provide more than HP does. So I could go attack or I could go ER. I feel like ER will be the better one here. So what I need to do is find my Yelan and give that item back to her. There it is. Now, I've only got 2-piece bonus right now. Let me see if I have any Emblem of Severed Fate pieces that will work here. I do have this attack one, which could work. Kind of for crit stats overall. But it would work. I also have this one on my Raiden. 7 and 9.3. I mean, it's not horrible. kind of am thinking I'll just go with that one because it's just unused right now. Let me see what the crit stats are sitting at. 35.3. That's horrible, man. ER is still relatively low because I have attack. Now, I'm sitting naturally at 3,000 attack, though. So we're going to try this, and then if I don't like the way it plays out, I'm going to add more ER by swapping things around a little more. But I also need to change your party comp up a little bit. Let's see. So like I said, I kind of wanted to go mono pyro for this because now I'm trying to see if I can just push a lot of pyro damage. Let's see, where is Kazuha? It almost kind of doesn't make sense. So what I could do, as opposed to strictly mono pyro, is I could do, you know, like Nahida, and just go for straight leaning into burning. So I think what we'll do it like this, and we're gonna see what kind of damage I can push from this. Oh, those sound effects popped up late. That was weird. All right.
I'm going in.
Ready.
Lots off.
Those hits are not very hard, are they? That's even in Bennett's burst. They just really didn't have that much punch to them. I think I need more ER to really make this effective.
Commit to memory.
Look alive.
Yeah, I mean, those hits are not much harder than some of the other ones I had, but this set is really only rigged up to give her, you know, to give her burst damage for the most part. So I kind of have to play with it to get her back in that range.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
All right, let's try it again. God, he's blocking it again. This is ridiculous. Ah, 20k. I got Wolf's Gravestone proc now. 26k at the backside of that. Just try to get some more pyro damage going here, or pyro application. I would like to pull him away a bit.
Never.
Oh, okay.
Again.
That was very unfortunate. Poor Kazuha. Alright, got that.
Yes,
Did I just kill my Kazuha again? Yes, I did. Double killed him. Rip. I thought maybe I'd have it timed up to just get a heal really quick, but I timed it up and just got him killed immediately instead. It's fine. All right, so I need to get burst back for Bennett. Come here.
We go.
Okay.
Teamwork is
That.
dreamwork.
This made her look.
Hi. You asked for
All
it.
right, don't block it this time. God. Oh, she almost died. Kind of ended up out of the circle. Honestly, like, I need more ER, I think, to really make this worthwhile. 'Cause it's just not doing it, is it? Like, the ER set is, again, like, it's trying to force Dehya to do a job that she's not really built to do, I think.
Temple of Wisdom.
But, like I said, I think I need to get her into an ER Sands, and I think that might help a bit.
You ain't
Oh,
messing
I got her killed.
done.
Everybody's dying. Yeah, this is like arguably like one of the worst setups I've had so far because everybody's just dying. Now I have to use Nahida to finish it off. Hey, quit. Okay. Well then, let me go heal up everybody really quick now because I got them killed. I gotta use all my resin. I think Zhongli has a very special case, unfortunately, both because the Chinese community complained about it and Liwa is the region that represents China. I mean, there was a pretty big push to have Zhongli changed by the community as a whole because they didn't feel that his power set was representative of what an Archon should be, or at least an Archon of his like clout. So I don't know. I feel like anything beyond that is kind of speculative. All right, so back to the artifacts again really quick because I do want to see if I replace this with something attack focus, if I can get that to be a little better. Now, I think I took this. No, this was loose, right? I did not take anything from Raiden. No, I did not. Okay, good. Although I did take this from Raiden. So that I need to hold on to, but I need to check ER here. Oh, weird. I'm getting a phone call from just one. Anybody know what one is? The number is just one. Cool. Freaking spam calls. God. Yeah. All right. So I can take one of these from, oh God, Xingqiu or from Xiangling. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take it from Xingqiu from now, just to you know, remain consistent with the 4-piece bonus. Let's see what it pushes her energy up to. 199.7. So if there's going to be a significant damage increase to her burst, this is probably going to be the range in which it operates. So let's find out. Yeah, I get tons of spam calls right now for reasons. Yeah. My the people in my TH members, they know what that reason is. But yeah, everybody else really doesn't. I don't talk about it that much. But yeah, it's a terrible. I've gotten almost 600 spam calls in the past week. It's really, really bad. No, my identity wasn't stolen, by the way. All right. Okay. Let's see.
Let me try.
Let's get it on. Let's light it up. Wind strider.
Grow.
All right, so I gotta charge up the burst first. We're not gonna see much for damage out of Dehya until the burst is charged, because this whole build is kind of set up to enable her burst more than anything else. Okay, I suppose. Got it. Okay.
Teamwork is dreamwork. Lots off.
He turned around on me. I mean, 21k at the high end. I mean, I saw 21k hits earlier though, without using Emblem of Severed Fate. So I don't know if that's really all that worthwhile.
Let's light it up.
Let's get the burst going one more time. I don't know that the R set's really doing it. Try this one more time. I need to finish her first charge. There it is.
I'm going in. You're dead meat.
He's just gonna die right away. Yeah, I didn't. God, by the time I charged everything up, it was already over. Lame. Now I gotta do it again. Fine, one more try, but I really don't think it works. Like, just using her with Ganyu and Mona definitely seems to be the best way to go. Like, I'm not seeing a lot of, like, great options for pushing high numbers out of her burst. But you can push good numbers out of her E. Her burst just kind of seems to be more like a thing that she has, and like, you might use it under certain circumstances, but it almost doesn't really matter. I suppose you could also, you know, like, hold onto her burst and use a 4-piece Shimenawas if you really wanted to, and like force her normals to be higher by just never using her burst.
This way for you.
That's an option, I guess. Not a great option, but it's an option. All right, let's see. Come on, go up. Yeah, I mean, I got some good hits in there because it did trigger Wolf's Gravestone towards the backside of it too. Ow. Let's charge it up again.
Let's get it on. Off we go.
Come on.
Committed to memory.
All right, got Bennett's burst back. Diaz is close. Ow.
Buckle up. Hi.
Ah, just barely missed it. Trying not to over damage him in the build up here. All right, there it is.
Wind strider. Everybody stand. You're dead meat.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm still only seeing about 21k in those. It's like strictly only okay. That's around the peak of what I was seeing using just a 2/2 build. And, you know, getting her in with Wolf's Gravestone anyways. It didn't really seem to make a big impact on the kind of numbers I was seeing. So, yeah, let me just get all of her artifacts swapped back out here because I need to get these set back on the characters they belong on. Let's see, where is Dehya at? There she is. This piece is still the right one. That's still the right one for her. And I didn't change that one. Okay, she's back to normal. Raiden has a piece that was changed with her, so I need to swap that back out. Yes. And also Xingqiu had a piece that was swapped out with her as well. That was this one, I think. No, it was this one. Where is he? He's in here somewhere too. Yeah, I definitely am feeling, you know, that my first instinct was still the right one, it looks like. And that was that, you know, stacking, you know, just 2/2 and then using her as an off-screen producer is probably the best way to get good returns from her because she enables some other characters quite effectively. It's 48.6 and 156.5, 122 ER. Let's see. I want to say I did change one artifact there, and that was this, down from a pyro resonance to attack, which I guess is something I didn't try just based on the fact that, you know, her abilities do scale on attack, so I can try this too. Although generally speaking, this is like relying on a filter to try to get bonuses out of your skills. Usually you end up getting less than just using the appropriate element, but I should try it. It was 54k. Yeah, so it did just go down. It went down by a lot, so I'm not even gonna finish fighting him because that doesn't even make sense. That was a significant loss in output compared to just using a pyro artifact. The pyro artifact was definitely better. So that was this one. Okay. Little less crit rate, a little bit more crit damage, and a little bit more ER. All right, so we're gonna go back over there one more time, but we're going to rearrange the team again to the Ganyu team that I put together earlier, just to show again how that was working. That team did seem to work nicely. I would say it was one of the teams that enabled that was really just one of the highest hitting teams that I put together today. And it resulted in the enemies dying off really fast. And that shouldn't be a surprise because, you know, it's a Ganyu team, but the melts that throw out on top are definitely useful. All right, so, and then you don't need a shield because you have Dehya to mitigate that stuff. Oh, I ran the wrong direction. But yeah, you have Dehya to provide interruption resistance, so you don't really have to, oh god, I'm running all over the wrong place. Here we go. C2 Chongyun reduces E skill cooldown by 15%. You can focus on building Dehya as a support and E skill unit. Also true. All right. Yeah, I think that that's what the real focus should be for Dehya is off-screen support. Her E is, I think, really where the sweet spot lies for this character. Because her burst doesn't really seem to do all that much. It's not strictly horrible. It is not good either.
My will embodied.
Yeah, I definitely can't complain about how the melt procs end up working with these two. It's definitely substantial enough to see good damage add-on.
Let's get it on.
No touching. Allow me.
This will do.
Oh, I missed. Get back over here, dude. Yeah, I mean, like, just getting the added melts on top of this definitely is nice.
Born of ice and fire.
I kind of, you know, blew it by not closing that out quicker, but yeah, I mean, that really, that does work nicely. You don't really have to dodge the abilities because Dehya will mitigate it for you. And instead of just having a shield that absorbs damage, you know, she absorbs the damage while providing extra damage on top of what your Ganyu already is, you know, what you're already used to your Ganyu doing. Now, you could also provide more to that by, you know, building your Dehya with something that will, you know, continue to buff if you wish. It will decrease the effectiveness of the melts, however. So, you know, just be mindful of, you know, giving up one to gain the other.
Do your master's bidding. My will and no touching.
Yeah, I definitely think that this is one of the better options. The Burgeon Mona or Albedo comp also worked really well. So yeah, this was quite effective. I have little to complain about with this. Like, Dehya definitely helps make Ganyu punch up even a little more than she used to. Like, Ganyu's always been one of the better characters in the game. It's not surprising that a character that can provide off-screen pyro damage will help to make her do that job better. Then, you know, one of the more surprising characters I would say that you can get, you know, additional benefit from is for Mona.
Hold you back much.
But you can also go, like I said, with Nahida for Burgeon or Albedo for some off-screen production, which does help a lot too. I think with multiple enemies, Nahida will probably be the better option because, you know, you can tag them all with Nahida and it will keep spreading to all the other enemies on the field. And I think it will overall just kind of be the more effective, particularly if you were to try it in the Spiral Abyss. I think it will be the better option. And you're a little less dependent on gaining damage from standing in a circle, which can be a bit of a problem. So let's try it one more time.
Let me try my throat.
Yeah, I didn't have to really dodge that, which was nice. Ordinarily, you have to get out of the way of that stuff. Let's throw this down.
Let's light it up. Teamwork is decided by destiny.
Let's see if that'll... he's got the wrong tag on him.
Shadows of fate.
Yeah, he's just getting blown up at that point. Like, he's taking so much damage. Yeah, I definitely have very little to complain about with this. I think maybe Ganyu, the combination with Ganyu maybe outperforms it by a few seconds. But maybe, you know, just reworking some, like, of the order of things might actually work to make that slightly better. Now, you can also, like I said, you can drop Nahida and bring in a character like Kokomi. You pick up more buffs, you get more HP, and you see a little bit more damage from your Dehya because you gain a little bit more HP. So this is one of the combinations where I was able to produce just a touch more damage from her burst and from her E because I had Kokomi there for more vaporize opportunities and another buff. So we'll do that one more time just as a quick recap for that too. And yes, we shall spar. And get the burst going again.
I'm ready.
Ow.
Let me scrap.
Throw that down, throw this down.
Gloves off.
Yeah, and you can see here, like, it's definitely helping her to push higher damage out of the burst. That was a 44k from the end of her burst, 34 from the reapplication of the E post of the burst. So you see that you can definitely get some solid damage in this comp as well from using Dehya to help enable your Hydro characters. And like, I honestly find that quite acceptable. This is another combination in which I saw, you know, my Mona put out like an 80k charge shot once. So like, you'll see solid damage. I think that was actually faster than with the Burgeon comp. And it put, I think this is arguably where I've seen my Dehya do the most damage, is this organization right here. Because you've got double resonance. You've got Hydro resonance and you've got pyro resonance. This is where Dehya does the most damage that I've seen so far. but it also helps bring Mona to life. So they kind of both work off of each other, I think, really nicely. I'll do that one more time. This is also where I've had, you know, like the 200k like Mona burst kind of stuff too, because you can set it up in the right order and get a nice good hit out of it if you do it right.
Everybody stand! Fate is upon you.
1, 2.
Hi! Allow me.
That didn't crit.
Shadows of fate.
Yeah, he's gonna lose the first one really quick there. Yeah, didn't really take any damage from that at all. First part's down. Recharge the burst for Bennett. Buffs.
Buckle up. You're dead meat.
And we'll see what I can get out of it from having buffs all over the place. Yeah, I mean, like, that is probably, like, the best use case for pushing damage out of Dehya. It killed it overall relatively quick. It's not like, you know, the 1-2 punch kind of things like you can do, just drop an Ayaka burst and just watch it die. It's a little bit more active. But this is a team that will have more steady output, I would say. Because, you know, you can keep Bennett's burst up almost full time. You can get, you know, buffs out of Kokomi very frequently. The only thing that this as a comp lacks is control, where, you know, maybe in place of Kokomi you can bring in a character like Kazuha, but you're gonna reduce some of your buffing. But I can do that as well, so let's try that, and that will give you control if you do need it. And I will swap their positions because Kazuha in any space but the 4th will just screw me up. And we'll see what we can get going with that. Now, if I do things in the right order with that, I can get a, you know, a pyro. I can get a pyro burst from my Kazuha, which I think would arguably be one of the better options. Ow. Yeah, of course he's blocking everything. It's really annoying. Just get everything charged up here. Alright. Got his burst. He'll be ready momentarily. Alright, there we go. Let's go ahead and weaken. Did I? Okay, I was gonna say, did I get Electro somehow? What happened?
Delve into destiny.
So here, you know, like it increases the pyro damage because I didn't do it off of the hydros. There we go. 46k there. I should get Dehya's burst again, or not her burst, but her E. Got Wolf's Gravestone active, and I killed him off screen. So you know, you can do it in a couple of different ways. I think arguably like Kokomi is safer because you're seeing heals off screen, but you're also getting another big buff from that. But if you need control, you need control, so you can use a character like Kazuha or Venti even to do that. This is obviously not a fight where you need control. That's more of a Spiral Abyss kind of tactic, and usually on the floors where there's lots of small enemies. I have been using and enjoying Dehya, Hutal, Xingqiu, and Mona. I would Yelan if I had her. Dehya doesn't really have any, you know, really, she has zero synergy with Yelan anyways, and Xingqiu for that matter, because Dehya cannot trigger their bursts. So that's a little bit of a problem. Yeah. Did you know that you can use healer bonuses, but only for herself? Yes. Well, I mean, so it kind of depends on how things are organized, but yes. All right. Well, that was a solid 2 hours of testing. One thing I do want to do before I close this out, I want to see, because I've always found that like one of the tests for, you know, whether or not a team can be used effectively is whether or not that team can fight the group of 4 of the Ruin Guardians down here in Lewa, and we'll kind of see what this team will do with us, or if it'll just roll over and die really fast. I'm quite certain that I could get it done with the Ganyu team, because any team that's based on an archer can you know, kind of micromanage those enemies into dying really easily anyways. So let's get out there and we'll see what happens. I do need to get Bennett's burst really quick, so let me go ahead and kill this really fast, and that will help with that.
Delve into destiny. Over here.
Oh, get your flies out of here. I just keep hitting the flies. Okay, go away. There you go.
Just
Okay. Freaking flies. Didn't want to go burning up anything else for that. And then we'll get over here and see how this ends up going. And then after that, I'm probably going to wrap it up here. Been a bit of a long day for me. And I do need to get into the Dane quest. If I don't end up doing it tonight, I'll be doing it first thing tomorrow. So I got a lot of stuff to do. All right, let's get these guys pissed off and chasing me, and I have to handle this a little bit differently than I would normally, because I don't have an archer in this team right now. All right, let's get them all over here. Rockets from everywhere. Kind of just need to round them up over here a little bit. Oh, nope. That is a good way to just get myself killed, though. Yeah, letting them do that is you don't want to engage while they're spinning. You'll just die. Ow. All right, I'm kind of rapidly losing my opportunities here. Okay, so I ended up engaging while spinning. Cool. He started spinning right on top of my Bennett's burst. I don't like that at all.
fate is upon
Fine. God, stop. Yeah, it's not working. They're all spinning at the worst times possible, and it's just causing my characters to get their, you know, get their asses handed to them. Oh, he is down here. All right, well, I got that going on.
Let me swing. Let's light it up. Everybody stand.
Okay, I'm kind of rebounding a little bit.
Lots off.
All right, well, they got through it. It was messy, but one of my characters did end up dying. I think it was Dehya died once. But yeah, I mean, they all kept spinning and it made it weird. Usually what I would do is I'd pull them out to the door over there. But if they spin at the door, you'll die just the same as doing it right there. So it did end up working. I have, you know, sometimes you'll get a team that just cannot manage that group at all, and then it'll just die. They killed it relatively fast once it all kind of came together, so it wasn't too bad. Definitely having Dehya's field down helped a lot with that, though, because now all of a sudden you're not getting pushed out of the circle. You can commit to your attack, and that's actually when I finally killed them. Was after I got Dehya's E down. I was able to just mitigate and resist the, you know, being pushed out of the field by their spin. So that helped a lot, and that's kind of what I was hoping for. I just didn't manage to get it down in the right order, but it did end up working out, so that's fine. Anyways, guys, kind of my hot takes here for Dehya. Oh, not hot takes, but my takeaways for Dehya is she is best served as an off-screen damage dealer. This is not a bad off-screen damage dealer, though. If you do it right, she's a great enabler for melt or vaporize teams, but you gotta build the right teams to really extract that from her. Like, there are lots of people who would like to brag that every character in the game, all the really good characters can be built in any team, but that's not even really true. Like, look at Zhao. He has very specific teams that you would use him in, and he's considered a hyper carry. Raiden Shogun generally is used in Raiden national teams, things like that. These are teams that are built to bring the best out of these characters. The game's hyper carries are built to be in certain kinds of teams. Dehya's not different, but she's an enabler. She's not really the character that you want to probably frontline. Although, if you want to up the damage that you're going to see from her E and from her burst, double resonance seems to be the takeaway. You want 2 hydro and 2 pyro, or you can drop Kokomi and pick up characters like Kazuha or Venti for control, and that helps a lot with that. Or you can go Burgeon, or you can also go with Albedo for off-screen production, and it will all stack up into big numbers. But if you're looking for biggest output from Dehya that I have seen is with the double hydro, double pyro resonance. Bennett, Dehya, Kokomi, and Mona. Like I got, you know, like that last hit from the burst was around 50k. It was like 47 and some change. Like that's the kind of, you know, and this is with her at 888s on kind of a modest build. It's kind of on the doable side, although my Wolf's Gravestone is a little bit busted comparative. But yeah, that is my takeaway. This character is not bad. Like all this negative hype that's been built up around Dehya not being a character that you can use for anything and being completely useless, totally overblown. She's a great off-screen pyro producer. There's not a lot of characters in the game that will give you a good opportunity for off-screen pyro production that you know, outside of Xiangling. Xiangling's very good at it, don't get me wrong. Like Pyronado's an insanity skill. Like I've seen crazy damage out of that, and arguably Xiangling is probably the best off-screen pyro producer in the game, and that's really because, you know, the pyro units have been kind of underutilized in this game since release. It's been a long time since a pyro unit even came out, much less a really truly good like pyro carry. We don't really have any. So we are still waiting for that to happen. Dehya, I think everybody was hoping. Toma's not good. Toma, you know, has one use case really, and that's only happened as a result of Dendro. So, you know, like he was the last pyro character I think to come out before Dehya, but he's not good. Like that's a character that really doesn't do much at all. Yeah. So Dehya's best use case in my eyes, if you want to get damage from her, put her in a double resonance hydro pyro team. If you want to get good output from another character because Dehya is there, then you can build her with Mona or you can build her with Ganyu. That's how you're gonna see best use for Dehya. She is not the character that's going to be producing big numbers. She's gonna help other characters produce big numbers. Christoph says Dehya is not a DPS. She is more like a comfort pick that replaces shields. Yes, that is pretty much it. Like she enables characters like Ganyu, like Mona, to stand their ground and fight, and those are the kind of those are the characters that kind of you need to be moving with them a lot if you don't have a shield or a mitigator like Dehya. So this is the space that she lives in, and honestly I think she does a really good job of it. And I think that this team here that I have built with only slight variation, are probably going to be the team I'm going to be using just running around doing quests and stuff for the next little while, because I find this team to be fun and quite effective, and anything that helps make Mona better is always a plus in my book. But she did make my Ganyu, you know, put out like a near 80k charge shot as well, so that's you know, never a bad thing. I did see upwards of 80k on a charge shot from my Mona with Dehya as well. So, you know, these are all under buffed circumstances with, you know, Bennett and Kokomi, those kind of things. But these are the upper end numbers that I've only seen with characters like Dehya. So, yeah, Dehya's not bad, you guys. You just have to use her in the right circumstances. I don't know why there was so much mass rage and memeing. Like, I feel like people just love to tag into negativity when it's there. It's low-hanging fruit. It's easy. It's really easy to grab onto something and hate it with everybody else, but that's dangerous, and we shouldn't do that stuff. Just, if you don't want the character, you don't want the character, but you don't need to like jump in behind a whole bunch of other people and you know, necessarily mimic their opinion without having tried it yourself. And that's the thing that's been completely ridiculous about all this negative hype about the character anyways. And I think that in time Dehya will obviously vindicate herself, just like Kokomi did, just like Zhongli did after his rebuff, because there were people who said even after he got buffed that he needed to be rebuffed again, and obviously that didn't need to happen, and Zhongli has since been recognized as one of the better characters in the game for what he is capable of doing. There were people who were crying that Raiden Shogun needed to be buffed after she released, and God knows that didn't need to happen. So wait and see where it goes. But I think that like we can already see what D is good at. Interruption resistance is a great tool for anybody who likes archer playstyles and doesn't have Zhongli, or you just don't like shield playstyle, because you know Zhongli will give a slight buff if you're using tenacity, but you can get damage on top with melt by using Dehya, and that's not a bad option to have at all. So and again, this also works, like I said, with vaporize. So yeah, my takeaway is vaporize comps, melt comps. Dehya is an off-screen damage producer. She's not an on-screen main DPS, but if you're going to try to get good damage out of her burst, then give her a vaporize team, give her melt opportunities to stack that with. Those were how I generally were seeing the best damage from Dehya's E and from her burst. You can build her as a physical carry. We did that. I saw upwards of 12k damage from her normals to like 18, 19 for the last hits on her normals. But if you have Eula, there's no reason to do that. Eula will just do that job better, because even my Eula does like 23, 24k on her normals. That's not unusual. And then, of course, don't get me started on the 500,000 damage that she can do with her burst. So if you have Eula, you will not need Dehya as a physical carry. But you can use her to do physical damage, and I did see it work. You'd call the standard banner swirlable side grade jungly. Sure. I do think that this is a character that's kind of designed to be a shield replacement, and I've been saying that on Twitter all week, and I stand by that. After getting to double down into this and play the character and test it over the last few hours, she's an off-screen damage producer, and she's good at it if you put her with the right characters. So final takeaway: off-screen damage production, vaporize and melt. That's what you want to use her for. Hopefully you guys, you know, learned enough today to be able to make a good decision about Dehya on your own. I will, you know, I'm always happy to answer questions over on Twitter. If you guys have any questions on you know, what you might want to do with your Dehya, or if you have, you know, if you want thoughts on team comps that you're trying to work with her, I'll be happy to offer up findings from the artifact sets and stuff, because I basically tested every combination of artifact sets that I could with her today, just to see what I would push. I would not bother with Emblem of Severed Fate. If any of you were wondering about that, it did not work well. You just want to try to play reactions to get good damage from Dehya, but let her shine off-screen damage. All right, anyways, I gotta get out of here, guys. It's been a long day, and I've been talking about 1,000,000 miles an hour for 3 hours, so yeah, I think it's about time to finish up. So have a great night, everybody. Thanks for being here. I'm going to get into the story quest either later tonight or tomorrow in the morning, so you can expect some updates over on Twitter about that for my initial takes. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great night. pizza.